will moderate this today first webinar series, upskilling postgraduate supervision and assessment for postgraduate. Actually, IPSis have initiated this webinar series that we have about 16 sessions, yeah, where it's going to be the evaluation for masters and PhD students, which cover for research proposal, and then the thesis evaluation, and as well the supervision skills, which we try to focus on the upscaling the supervision and the assessment for research proposal and the thesis, and as well for the exposing and the upscaling back of all our supervisors to supervise the student and as well to promote your research work that have been done during the in your ITM, yeah. So boleh nampak tak my slide sekarang? Ada nampak tak?
Boleh, Prof.
Boleh, ya? Okay, so I will begin just a little bit about my some of our data information that I would like to share with all of you. Okay, so yeah, so my name is Aman Muhammad Ihsan bin Muhammad. I'm from Institute for the Postgraduate Studies, which is I'm heading for postgraduate research program. So this is the current statistic for our numbers of postgraduate students in UITM, which this one is for masters and PhD student by research. Yeah, so for the bar is a master and PhD student by research, and then the top one is the combination of the masters plus PhD. So this is intake per year from 2005 until 2020, and this is the new intake by the faculty. So you can see from this chart, this table, the masters and PhD student, and then that's where you can refer the faculty that you are currently service. Okay, so as we can see here, we have quite good numbers of increment for the PhD student and as well for the master student, but whereby for master student the highest number for the postgraduate research that we have in 2014, which is about 685, and then slightly decreased due to my brain, something like that, and then currently we are increasing again the numbers for the postgraduate research, but with the current COVID-19 situation, this hopefully not give a big impact to our enrollment, especially for our postgraduate research. And then for our PhD student is a very good numbers of increasing, whereby we can see here the very good, the highest number is coming from the faculty of BA, Business and Administrations, where in 2019 the number of PhD student new enrollment about 104, Ashad Ayub Graduate Business School 65, this year about 80. So I hope that all the faculty give more commitment in order to increase the numbers of the postgraduate supervisions that we contribute to the MIRA and as well our visibility for the UITM. And this is the timeline for the research GOT. Yeah. So as for your information, the GOT for full-time student only cover for full-time student. Part-time student is not the denominator for the GOT. Master student is 24 months and PhD student is 48 months. Except for medicines, architecture and dentistry, the GOT for masters is 36 months and 60 months for, or 5 years for the medicine students. So this is a timeline for GOT. You can ask me anytime. I think after the Dr. Thenmolli briefing, nanti I can explain you more. And then this is a one thing that I would like to highlight, that which is a little give us a little bit nervous, which is the numbers of the student that not doing the RP, which is about, this is the chart, 107 for BA. The red numbers is as for your information, The duration required for student to do the DRP for full-time masters is 6 months, PhD is 12 months, part-time masters 12 months, and 18 months for the PhD students. Where the distribution of the student that who still not doing the DRP is given by this chart. Yeah, you can see from here which faculty is servicing that reflect to the current situation. Okay, this is the current Viva numbers. The students that have done their Viva according to the faculties, starting from January until July. Okay, and this is the number of students who are still waiting for the Viva VOCE. So my gentle reminder, if you are evaluating the PhD thesis or master thesis by research, please make it fast. So that is our target for this webinar series, which is to increase upscaling your assessment, what to cater, how to make it fast in order to deliver it on time. Okay, this is the current of the student who have done the Viva and the result for the Viva VOCE, which is the minor correction, which is the result is 2. And this is a major correction, which is the result is 3. The major correction, there are 2 types, which is a major correction without reviver and major correction with the reviver. Okay, so this is one of our biggest contribution to the university, which is the number of postgraduate by research that has been graduated, especially for the PhD. So throughout the years, in 2019, we have about 238, which is dropped from 2018, which is 251. However, it's a little bit nervous for this year, 2020, even though now we are already in July, in September. But the numbers for PhD graduate is quite low, which is about 105. So this is the achievement for the IGOT, which is from 2009 until 2020, where we can see here that the IGOT for PhD is higher than IGOT for the master student, where IGOT for PhD is about 30% and IGOT for the master student is about 5%. So this is our main objective for this assessment, this webinar series, to increase the numbers for the GOT, improve the waiting time for the DRP, waiting time for the evaluation for the assessment, for the PhD thesis, for the master thesis, and what is the trick, how to make it fast for the evaluation process. Okay, so this is the kehadiran maklum balas. By the end of the session, saya akan tunjukkan lagi sekali for the for the kehadiran, ya. So at the moment, okay, so I think that's all for my session. I will pass this to Dr. Thenmolli. Okay, Dr. Thenmolli. So if you have others, if you have any question, please just put it on the chat menu. Then I will answer it during the sessions. Yeah. Okay, Dr. Thenmolli.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, Prof. Aman.
Okay. So I give you the presentation.
All right. I will share now my presentation. Hang on, guys. Okay, can you all see the slide?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, can you hear me? Can you see me? Is that clear?
Yes.
All right. So I think we can start because we have about 1 hour only. All right. Very good morning and hello everyone. I am glad to be here with you today and thank you so much, dear colleagues, as only the very best people in any field will take the time and make the sacrifice to join a webinar like this. And before I start up with the presentation, I would like to thank to IPSis who put so much of effort, initiated this webinar, and I am very grateful and appreciate the opportunity given. All right. Evaluating a research proposal is a very serious business, and it requires a high level of seriousness and precision. So the topic has been specifically designed to show you how to evaluate a research proposal for non-science and technology fields in just an hour. So believe me, I am very much delighted and excited to share my ideas, thoughts, and experience in evaluating research proposals for my Masters by Research with all of you. And I know that today's topic may bring up a number of questions from you, and I want to let you know that I will address as many as I can in the time that we have today. So if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to instruct me, and I'm happy to answer any questions while we are going along. All right. Okay. Now, this is the presentation outline. Okay. Please stop me or interrupt me if you can't hear me or cannot see the slide, because I could not see any one of you, because I only can see my slide. I feel like talking to the screen alone. Okay, hope all of you with me. All right, guys. All right, this is our presentation outline. All right, today we would try to cover the whole process of evaluating research proposal from the beginning of the research title till to the last part of the research design, and also I'm going to share with you the assessment form and also the detailed assessment form for DRP, so that you can see the clear picture and how you're going to give comments or feedbacks on the students' research proposal. Right. I will wrap up by going over on the important aspects that need to be checked as an evaluator or panel assessor as well. Okay. First and foremost, okay, why is it essential to evaluate a research proposal? Okay, I am very sure that all of you know the answer, but if you ask me, I would say that first, to improve the quality of the research. Okay, because once a research proposal is evaluated, it tries to pinpoint the strengths and weaknesses, and also it helps the candidate or the researcher to improve upon it. Okay, and then number two is it enhances use of findings of research, because a report which has been evaluated and also what we call evaluated and formed to be valid and reliable, and the findings of research can be put to further using. Remember, guys, it is very, very important to evaluate the research proposal very comprehensively, because we wanted to help the candidate to improvise more further on their proposal and also for their research. Okay, dear colleagues, the main part that would be very crucial while we are evaluating a research proposal is the title of research. Okay, title. How many of us always look at the title? I think all of us always looking at the title and checking at the title, but it is very important to evaluate the title first before we move on to the content of the research proposal. Why? Because we wanted to understand the research content or the full research, whether it is following what we call the subject that come out by the candidate or not. Okay, so the title is without doubt the part of a paper that is read the most, and it is usually read first. Okay, while checking the title of research, we must evaluate whether the title is doable or it is sufficient for masters. You can see, class, you can see, guys, sorry, in some of the research proposal, you know, candidates will come out with a different type of title. Later I will share with you, okay, the title or, okay, the examples of title. Okay, they will come out with a unique title. You know, it might make some kind of like difficulty for the students to further go along with the title or with the research, because they will stuck in the middle of the research and they are unable to get a proper source to continue their research. So we must check the title first, and this is a higher thinking order, not the same as degree. As degree is very basic, but master is different a bit. One more important thing is the working title must also match with PEO of the program. Okay, how many of you know about PEO? All right, PEO, for example, like under my faculty, Faculty of Administrative Science and Policy Studies, the faculty will always make sure that the program educational objective fulfilled while approving the research proposal for Masters by Research. Okay, PEO here means program educational objective. All right, see whether the PEO of your program has been achieved or not. check the objective and make sure the title must tune to the area of the expertise at faculty. Else faculty can decide to add a co-supervisor as well, because some student candidate, they're reluctant to have two supervisors. They wanted to maintain with one supervisor, but faculty normally will take a look at the PO and they will try to set up or appoint co-supervisor according to the title or the subject that are going to research by the candidate. Okay, this is also important for the audit purposes later on. Okay, for audit while they are doing the audit, they will check about all these process and things. Okay, now evaluate the title on the accuracy, very important. Accuracy, appropriateness, conciseness, and clear reflect of research. Make sure the title is not too long or too short. Okay, let me share with you example. If the title is too long, it usually contains too many unnecessary words. Okay, for example, a study to investigate the performance of staffs at Kuala Lumpur City Hall. Okay, I don't think so. The word like a study, a study, the word. Okay. Other than that, effects of stress among lecturers at Faculty of Administrative Science and Policy Studies. It's an example only, guys. And then analysis of staff motivation towards performance. Usually these type of working titles showing low impact of the research paper. Okay, low impact to the research paper. On the other hand, we have a title which is too short, often uses words which are too general. For example, like Malaysian politics, or Western culture, or life cycle. These type of titles could be the title of a book, but it does not provide any information on the focus of a research paper. We must make sure the title reflects the topic. All right. Okay. So all of us know that, I'm sharing my experience here, that all of us know that we are aware that for research proposal, an accurate working title should be developed early in the research process, because it can help anchor the focus of the study in much the same way the research problem does. So we should evaluate the working title, and we may give our suggestions to the candidates if necessary. For example, like you may put a comment in your assessment form or DRP detail form, later I will share with you, saying that the title is too broad, or the title is unclear, or you may put simplify the title, and so on. So remember, a good title of research should predict content, interesting, and reflect tone, and also contain important keywords. Okay. All right, friends. Now, take a look at this slide on the research background. Okay. It is equally important to evaluate on the background of the study. A well-written background will provide a study with the context and prompt the readers to read the rest of the paper. Okay, because firstly, people will read the background first. What had happened, what the researcher wanted to research on this topic. So as we know, the background section should provide the general information about the topic of research and emphasize the main aims of the study, and it should also discuss the findings in a chronological manner to accentuate the progress in the fields and also the missing points that need to be addressed. Okay, so we must make sure that always read the background, because we wanted to see the chronology of the content. Okay, whether it is followed, one by one, and so on. Okay, we can say that, share my own experience, guys, we can say that most of the master's candidates, they struggle with writing the background of the study. And another common problem that I have identified while evaluating a research proposal is a problem in distinguishing between background and also literature review. Okay, they will always get confused with background. What is research background? What is literature review? They always will try to differentiate between these two, which are very critical aspects of any research proposal. So background information expands upon the key points stated in the beginning of the introduction of research. Okay, we know that it is only the expansion of the introductory part and not to be the main focus of the paper. Okay, it's not a main focus of the paper. Research background is just the introductory of the title or of the topic or of the subject that we going to research on. Okay, so usually background of the study would explain about the root of the problem being studied in relation to the theory, all right, and then research practice and so on. So while evaluating research proposal, we also should try to find out whether the study tried to attempt the existed gap. Okay, we must check the gap as well, all right. So we should check whether the background of the study establishes the context of the research or not. And also, dear friends, check whether the candidate explain why this particular research topic is important and essential to understanding the main aspect of the study, and also they must justify the need for conducting the study. Okay, not only giving the problem, what had happened, you know, they must justify it. Justify, must not justify using, you know, just simply giving their reason or something like that, but justify with or scholars supporting statement or details, argument, you know, and also summarize what the study aimed to achieve. You know, at the end of the background, normally at the end of the paragraph, candidate should stress again or summarize what the study aims to achieve. One more thing, for the research background, check if the study is interdisciplinary. Okay, interdisciplinary. If yes, it should describe how different disciplines are connected and what aspects of each discipline will be studied. All right. Okay, now move on to the next slide. All right. Problem statement. Okay. All right, dear friends. Problem statement should be specific on issue, specific to domain or location. Apart from that, check whether any issue on theoretical support to the issue. Okay. For instance, like data evidence, citations, supporting arguments, you know, statistics from different scholars. Remember, guys, problem statement is not an essay alone. Okay, if student give you only an essay without any evidence or proof, you must check the whole report and you must give the marks accordingly. All right, normally it is totally wrong. Okay, most important to be very clear and no studies like that done before. Okay, and one more thing for problem statement, remember contribution to new knowledge. Okay, if no contribution, you can only give the average marks, which might be very low, you know, and sometimes it would affect the whole research proposal. Okay, later I would share the rubrics for masters by research with all of you. Okay, now check whether the particular problem statement can guide in identifying the specific contribution of the particular study. Right, you can do this by observing the statement of the problem and the significance of the study. Don't worry, normally faculty will email you or pass to you the report 1 month before or 2-3 weeks before, so that you can check the research proposal one by one, each and everything, go through page by page, A to Z, because while you are assessing the candidate for the defense research proposal, you may highlight page by page what is the problem, you know, where need to be clear, you see. So make sure you take ample of time to review or to check the research proposal. Okay, that's why I say you can do this by observing. For problem statement, normally you can observe the problem statement together with the significance of the study. Okay, for example, guys, if the question is there a significant relationship between the teacher's teaching style and the student's examination scores in mathematics? Okay, then the contribution of the research would probably be a teaching style or styles. Let's say 3 teaching styles that have been evaluated. Okay, this is not my field, guys. My field is local government, community development, and environmental studies. I'm just giving a simple example that all of us can understand. All right. So let's say we have 3 teaching styles that have been evaluated that can help students perform better in mathematics. So the research will demonstrate the teaching style really works. So that could be a groundbreaking approach that will change the way teachers teach mathematics, which many students dislike. So remember, dear friends, research problem is very important. Okay, to share my own experience, personally, once I got the research proposal, the first and foremost section that I would check is on the problem statement. Okay, after getting the research proposal, I would not check the research background. To be honest, I would not check the research background, or I would not check anything. I will go to the problem statement first, because I wanted to understand what is the problem about. Why candidate wanted to do this topic? What is the problem? Why candidate wanted to check for this problem? You know, I always stress to the candidate during their research proposal defense that problem statement is the backbone of the thesis. All right, while evaluating problem statement, make sure you cover all these questions. Okay, I give you example questions like what is the problem, who said it is a problem, okay, what are the effects of the problem, you know, is the problem is clearly stated in the problem statement section, is there sufficient evidence to support the existence of the problem statement, for example, like data, factors, symptoms, you know, is it a new or old problem? You know, most of us won't check this, whether it is new or old problem, you know. And then is the problem practical or theoretical one? Okay, if you're about to give a good marks, make sure the problem is clearly stated and sufficiently supported with the symptoms identified, and it is examined to a fresh or new perspective. Okay, so guys, please do thorough checking on this part so that it can help the candidates to develop their research problems according to the subject of their study. All right. Now, move on to our next slide is on evaluating research objectives and research questions. Okay. This is also a very important section that should be focused. Very, very, very. Okay. Okay, the basis for a strong research proposal is the objectives and questions. Okay, these two elements must be tally and related. Okay, not only checking in terms of research objectives and research questions, you also try to make sure research objective, research question, problem statement, theoretical framework or conceptual framework are interconnected between each another. Related, must be tally. Okay, and let me focus on the research question part first. Okay, while evaluating this part, for research question, make sure we check whether the research question is audience aware. Okay, what is that audience aware? Okay, where check whether the question with the subject that you find compelling. Okay, that means everyone know about this problem and they are still searching for answer. The people are still trying to solve the problem. You see, that is audience aware. Next is arguable. Check whether the candidate is already making effective arguments about a topic and has framed a question in a way that you yourself can imagine might provoke good scholarly debate, can come out with a very quality report, can publish the report, so and so. Okay, number 3 is answerable. Okay, make sure the candidate develops the question in a way that you can actually find research that addresses it. We know that we want candidate to produce a very new problem statement, produce a new thesis, a new report, but we must make sure that previously the problem that identified by the candidate must be addressed by another scholar as well, but using a different variables or different way of style of writing, or using a different theoretical framework, something like that. Okay, instead of, okay, I share with you example. Instead of does poverty lead to war? Okay, does poverty lead to war? Try something like, did the economic conditions in the South India in the 1860s lead to the civil war? While it's arguable that poverty could lead to war, but it's too broad or too rhetorical to make for an effective research question. Okay, so the research question must be very what we call specific and direct to the point. All right. Okay, next one is on the appropriate in scope. Okay, we must make sure the question is limited enough that can give a good sense of scholarly conversation within the length of the paper or essay section. Okay, if you ask me personally, I would suggest 3 to 4 or maximum 5 research questions should be appropriate for the master's degree, but it all depends on the study or the subject itself, and also it depends on the supervisors and the candidate itself. But ideally 3 to 4 or maximum 5 research questions should be okay. All right. For research objectives, check what specifically will the study aim to achieve. Are the objectives purely descriptive? Are the objectives analytical? Do we have multivariate analysis? And then, must check all these to ensure the good mixture of the objectives for that particular research. All right, okay, now move on to the next slide. Okay, scope. All right. While evaluating the scope of study, make sure it is narrowing and specific. Most of us forget to check the scope. Scope of study is very important. It's a kind of summary of the method of the whole process of the thesis. Basically, a candidate has to define what the study is going to cover and what it is focusing on. Similarly, candidate also has to define what the study is not going to cover as well. That means each and everything candidate should justify. Okay, justify. Let's say the respondents are among lecturers from all the IPTAs. Let's say IPTAs here means they must justify why IPTAs, why not IPTS. Remember, if the scope is too narrow, the findings might not be generalizable. I think we all know that, right? All right. Firstly, check whether the candidate fulfill the 4W and 1H questions. Okay, I always use this method, so I would like to share with all of you to evaluate this section. You may use 4W1H question. Okay, it is the easiest way to understand the summary of research design of the particular study. For example, for first question on like what. Check whether the candidate reiterate the research problem and its objectives in clearly formulated sentences. Not only explain in background of study, but candidate also should explain in the scope why. What is the aim? Okay, not too lengthy, guys. It's like a scope of study normally about 1 page, 1.5 page, something like that for research proposal. Okay, next, candidate must clearly explain on who are the respondents. If the respondents are the officers, must clearly specify their grade or category of the officers. Let's say the candidate wanted to do research at Dewan Bandaraya Kuala Lumpur, okay, because my field is local government, so I'm always thinking about this local councils, okay, Dewan Bandaraya Kuala Lumpur, okay. Let's say Kuala Lumpur City Hall, we have a different type of category of staffs, okay, they have their own grade, okay. Student must clearly state why they choose that particular group of staff. Okay, maybe they wanted to choose among the those who are grade 40 and above. Okay, so they must clearly give their justification why. Okay, and then check about the focus of the study, where the research going to be conducted or which place. Okay, when does the research will begin or start? Okay, and candidate also should state also the length of the coverage of the data compilation and what method of analysis, like time frame. Example, like let's say they said, okay, we'll start the research around September and will end around December, while for the collecting of data. Okay, if the use of a questionnaire is made in the research work, candidates should provide the readers with the demographic of the participants and how many they are, and they must provide the what we call the draft of the questionnaire later attached together with the report. This is the basic or standard of checking for a scope of study. Okay, make sure you check they have given where. Candidate also mentioned about who. Okay, mention about why, and then when they're going to conduct, and also how they're going to conduct the study. All right. Next is how to evaluate significance of research. Okay. Okay, significance. We must ensure the significance of study has been done by looking into the general contribution of the particular study, such as its importance to society as a whole, towards its contributions to individuals, and that may include the candidate as a researcher. Significance also should start off broadly, then taper off gradually to specific group of person. Okay, it also must be narrowed down. Okay, you may start up, significance can be very broad, but at the end it must be narrowed down to the subject or content or the theme of the research. All right. Remember to check what is the practical and theoretical usefulness of the study. I mean, managerial, or discipline, okay, of the study, and how will this study contribute to the resolution of the problem? Everyone know about this, right? So I have tried to check, will the significance, will the study open up a new route to the usual inquiry of the problem? Because it's a master's by research. Masters by research means we have to try to go more deeper, so that candidate also can improvise their research as well. Okay, in what ways will the findings be useful or important, and so on and so forth. Okay, now sorry. Now let's take a look on how to evaluate the literature review. Sorry guys. Okay, the basic thing that we do evaluate for a literature review is an introduction, which explain how the review is organized. Okay, normally we will check a body which contains the headings and subheadings that provide a map to show the various perspectives of the arguments. It's like the evaluation of the materials that candidate wants to include on the topic, and also finally a summary. Okay, guys, do evaluate the comprehensiveness of the section. Comprehensiveness of the literature review. Okay, and for the evaluation and synthesis of source, you would evaluate on the adequacy of the source, the number of sources, nature of the sources. Okay, other than that, check on the credibility of the source and the arrangement of the paragraphs. Okay, the arrangement of the paragraphs should be checked according to the logical organization of important recent material, and also check the quality of the review. Okay, a thorough review of the relevant related work with a particular focus on the research problem question also need to be focused. Okay, based on my own observation so far, okay, based on my experience so far, most of the candidates are only reporting their literature. I hope that some of you also identify it, right? Most of the candidates are only reporting their literature. Literature review is not reporting, but it is an analysis of literature. Okay, I do not want to clarify more about literature review, because our aim is on evaluation, evaluating the research proposal. It will take much more time if wanted to explain about this. Okay, so it is important for the panels or evaluators to check whether the relevant areas are adequately reviewed, and the key issues leading to or related to proposed study are indicated. Okay, now next slide is conceptual theoretical framework. Okay, dear colleagues, one more important aspect that should be focused for this section is the theory. Okay, theories are formulated to explain, predict, and understand phenomena, and also in many cases to challenge and extend existing knowledge, and within the limits of the critical bounding assumptions. Okay, so the theoretical framework is the structure that can hold or support the theory of a research study, which is very, very important. Okay, some candidates, they will come out with more than one theory. Some candidate will stick with only one theory. Depends on their framework. If their framework it's related to the theory, they must make sure they highlight that in their summary. Okay, summary, the summary of the framework. Okay, when they have the framework, they will have the summary below the framework, right? They must explain each and everything. This variable is supported by Maslow's theory. This variable is supported by systems theory. It must be very clear, and we all know that theoretical framework also introduce and describe the theory which explain why the problem exists in the particular study. So dear friends, keep in mind to check whether the framework is clearly describe the concept, model or specific theories that underpin the study. And this includes noting who are the key theories in the field who have conducted research on the same problem, and the historical context that supports the formulation of the theory, so on and so forth. And guys, do not forget to check the position of the framework. You may ask me, why the position of the framework? What's wrong with that? There will be likely several concepts or theories or models that can be used to help develop a framework for understanding the research problem. So therefore, we should check why the framework chosen by the candidate is appropriate for the study. Okay, check. But yeah, position here means you check how the candidate framed the framework, how the candidate put the framework. Okay, and also check the tenses, guys, friends. Tenses very important. Okay, tenses especially when writing about theory. Okay, one more thing, make sure candidate also analyze the theory and not copy paste the theory as it is. We can see most of the candidate, they will copy and paste it, and they will explain, you know, it's not a good way. It is not an it is an unethical way. You see, we must try to stress to the candidates, do not copy paste the framework, you know, because framework can be adapt or adopt. Okay, whatever is that, adapt or adopt, it's not a big issue. The issue is do not copy paste the framework. Try to draft the framework according to the research, according to the report or field that candidate wanted to research on. All right, and do check whether the concept, construct, variables are clearly defined and their relationship explained using evidence from the literature. Okay, normally for framework, some candidates, they will come up with two frameworks, exactly same. One framework together with the theory and the variables. Another framework is highlighting the hypothesis of the study, how it will link to H1, H2, H3, like that. So must check all these things. All right, move on to the next slide. Okay, method. Dear friends, method should be very detailed. Check the design, whether it is appropriate and allows for a good test of the issues and should explain on solving the problem and achieving the objectives. Okay, make sure the sample issues are explained and justified. Okay, and then if there is sample issue, okay, and then the operationalization is clear and defensible. And also, guys, check whether the data analysis for the testing is specific and explain some. Most of the time, candidate will explain what type of analysis that they're going to use. You know, for objective 1, what is that? Objective 2, what is that? You know. Also check whether they have used the explanation on the research method. Okay, for instance, like survey, modeling, case study. You know, we must check all these. If quantitative, check about the questionnaire, you know, all the things. Qualitative also must check each and everything. If the questionnaire should be used, candidate must show the draft of questionnaire in the research proposal. Okay, I think I have discussed with you earlier. All right. Okay. Finally, other aspects that need to be evaluated in a research proposal are on the sequencing of the paragraph or chapters, format, you know, language, all that thing. Okay, now check whether the organization of the chapter is appropriate or not, whether the formatting of the report is as per specified standards by the university, especially as guided by IPSis. Okay, like for sequencing, guys, you should check the organization of the paragraph. You know, connection between one paragraph to another paragraph, connection between one chapter to another chapter. It is very, very important, because most of the times candidate will copy paste, you know, copy paste this and that, you know, the information or whatever is that, and they will forget to link chapter or link the paragraph with another paragraph. So we must check the sequencing. It is very, very important. Okay, and also check whether the format is very important as well, because we should follow the standard guidelines given by the IPSis as well. You know, I mean, the candidate will practice themselves at the earliest stage how to come up with a good formatting for the report as well, and check the appropriateness of language and presentation. Okay, language, check whether the grammatical errors, you know, and I know we are not from the language faculty. Some of us not from language faculty, so try to check the simple grammatical errors, okay, and check whether the English used by the candidate, whether it is UK English or US English, okay. If I'm not mistaken, we are using UK English, okay, in UITM. All right, it's a very simple thing that we can check for language and presentation, and also it is necessary for the candidates attach their schedule or milestones, okay, schedule like what is the next process after defense research proposal, what they're going to do. You know, this is quite important as well, because we wanted to trace the progress of the particular candidate. All right, and then check the style of referencing as well, whether the APA style followed, or check the style of references for different material used. For example, like journal article, you know, how they put in the reference, books, newspaper articles, monographs, you know, speech, a quote from the speech. You know, we have different types of style of referencing, but should follow APA. And now, all right, colleagues, let me show you a little bit information on the rubric. Okay. Okay, a rubric for evaluation of research proposal for master by research, defense proposal defense of research proposal assessment form. Hope all of you can see. I could not see all of you, but I hope that you can see this one. All right. Okay, this is the borang penilaian penilai cadangan penyelidikan. All right, can see here we have a section 2 to be filled up by the assessor, by the panel. I have given a simple example here that you can see here. I think let me increase the font a bit so that you can see clear. Okay, now we have aspect of assessments here, okay, and also the assessment for each criteria, okay, the parameters, okay, you can say that as a parameter from 1 to 5, okay. For title of research, it's about 5%, the assessment allocated for title of research, you see 5%, okay. For problem statement, we need to analyze, check the analysis of the problem, and then rationale and justification for research gap, you know, and okay, a literature review, we need to check the hypothesis development, you know, conceptual framework or theoretical framework, and then able to organize whether the candidate able to organize the different bodies of knowledge logically. 10%, you see, 10% is a lot. Proposed research framework, you know, research method of data, sampling, design procedure, significance. You see, I have covered all this just now, guys. I have covered all the information. All right, okay. This is the outcome of the defense research proposal, okay, the ranking and the marks, total marks, okay. Basically, I just wanted to show you that, okay, you can see here, I have given you example of comment, okay. Example for title of research, the title is too general, require minor change. Why I put here refer detail evaluation form, okay, because most of the time this assessment form, actually this assessment form is quite what we call limited of space, okay. We do not have a very what we call lengthy space for this assessment form, so we can give our clear comments or feedback on this form. Let me check it. Wait, all right. Okay, this one is the detailed evaluation form for research proposal. Let's say you were unable to give the comment in this space for assessment form, and you think your comment is very lengthy, you know, you need to give so many suggestions to the candidate. Okay, I'm very sure this is not enough for you. Okay, you may go for this detailed evaluation form. Detailed evaluation form, it is only the form is very empty, guys. Okay, friends, the form is very empty. Detailed assessment with content only, these two only. Other than that, we need to use our own creativity to explain the comments or feedback to the candidate, to the particular researcher. Okay, I have given you one example that I will always follow. Example, like I will put like this, chapter 1, okay, and I will come up with a table. Normally, I always do this. I will come up with a table with 3 columns. I put section, chapter, or I put page numbers in the second column, and I put comment or feedback in the third column. Okay, how I do that? Normally for the section chapter, I will make sure I cover the subheadings of the research proposal. Okay, example here I put suitability of the title. Okay, here page, of course, title page. Okay, up to you. You must check the page numbering, and then I put comment. The title of the research proposal is appropriate and reflects the major focus of the research. Suggestion nil. Okay, or you may say the title is too broad. Okay, suggestion, you may give your own suggestion if you wish to. Okay, or anything you can type, because you have ample spaces here, you know, you can type everything. And then like for page, you can put page numbering PP15, you see, sorry, P15, P7, PP169 until 170. Okay, dear friends, just wanted to share my experience with all of you. We can see some of the panels or evaluators, after done paneling or after evaluating the research proposal, normally they will give their comments or feedback based on a very general comments. Okay, normally they would not come up with this type of table. How they will do that? They will put objective. Candidate should improvise the objective. Done. Full stop. Literature review. Candidate should add more in definition on this, more definition or concept on the main topic. Full stop. Done. Please do not do that. If you do that, it will, you know, the candidate or the researcher will confuse. Let's say if objectives means which objective, highlight which objective, objective number 1, objective number 2, or objective number 3. Please do not do that, my dear friends, because our aim is to help the candidate. Our aim is to help the candidate to improvise their research proposal, to improvise their research. They are our students, you know, they are our students. So we must make sure that we give a very clear and detailed comments together with the page number, together with the subheading section 3.1, 3.2, or you may give the particular sentence from the report itself. Example, you can see here, right? On page 25, para 1, empirical evidence derived on ... the level of development. What is this line doing in the section on role of leaders in the organization? See, I have put like this, because then only the candidate knows that, oh, the problem is in page 25 in this sentence. You know, I know it will take too much time, you know, a lot of time to do all this, but it is our responsibility as an evaluator. All right. Okay. This is research methodology, and overall, research methodology also, it's up to you how you're going to give. Okay. I have put it here. For example, section 4.9. You know, it's not clear. Okay. I have mentioned section 4.9 and also the page numbering. All right. Okay. Now, okay. All right, dear friends and colleagues. In a conclusion, evaluating research proposal for masters by research should be very clear, and all the feedback given must be detailed and must be shared with the candidate to provide him or her with as much as help and direction as possible. Just now I have said that while giving the feedback or comments, you must make sure it is detailed, comprehensive, and clear. Why? Because of this, you know, some of the candidates or some of the researchers, they will call the faculty, for postgraduate faculty, and asking for the clarification. Okay, sorry, ma'am, I could not understand comment number 2. What is it all about? You know, again, the people from the faculty will come and disturb you. If you do not want them to disturb you, make sure you give a very clear comment. All right. Or sometimes supervisor also will come and contact you. You know, they will ask you, you have put this comment in the section literature review. May I know what it's about? Can you clarify more? You know, let's say the person call you after 1 month. Totally, you will forget about that research proposal and you already focus on something else, another research proposal. You're doing something else, you see. You will forget about that. Which research proposal, which one, you know, because sometimes we need to evaluate about 3 to 4 research proposals. You see, so it is very important. Please follow my, idea that I have given you just now, right? And try to provide constructive comments. And as a panel evaluator, do not worry about candidates' page limit. There is a no page limitations, and then you can ask for further information even though it would not have fit in the proposal. You may ask for further information. Normally during defense research proposal, you may ask the candidates, okay, I am not clear about this section, could you clarify more about that? Then you can take remark on that. You can put take a note down whatever that you think would be valid. All right. You can remember, you are evaluating a research proposal by a master candidate and not by a PhD candidate. So try to provide the comments according to the master's level. Okay, we do have some experience that sometimes we forget, you know, we are like overexcited and giving comments to that particular candidate, we are giving comments to that PhD candidate, you know. Sometimes it will prolong until 2 to 3 hours, you see. So we must try to make sure that what is the level of the candidate. Okay, colleagues, hope the tips and techniques that I have shared with you would help you in evaluating research proposals by masters in a very effective way. And that brings us to the end, and I would like to thank you for your time and attention for this IPSis webinar, and thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Thenmolli.
Welcome.
So, can we have a short Q&A session, maybe 1 or 2 questions from the participants?
Any questions, dear friends? Okay, we are, as a lecturers, I think we do face so many problems, you know, difficulties in terms of evaluating the research proposal, and we are still in a learning process. You see, we can help each other, see how to evaluate, because we want to end of the day, we wanted to produce a very good quality student, UITM student. Oh, you're from UITM, you must be very good, you know. People would say that if we really evaluate according to the guidelines that provided by IPSis and also follow the method, right?
Okay, so this is the borang kehadiran dan manubalah. Tolong scan it and then fill the form, yeah. Okay, Dr. Thenmolli, tadi ada satu soalan, I think daripada Dr. Rafidah or something like that, asking about the how many respondents required for the qualitative method.
Okay, qualitative method depends on, example, like you have only 12 interview, let's say you wanted to interview the officers from any local council. Let's say in that particular office, let's say Majlis Daerah Jempol, okay, Majlis Daerah Jempol. Let's say in that particular local council, we have about only 10 staffs that working in that particular local council. So it doesn't matter, it's not a big issue. What you have to do is, you may interview the whole people in that particular local council, but you must justify why that 10 people.
Okay.
Okay, why that 10 people? So there is no limits for the minimum or maximum number of respondents. It depends on your study, where you're going to conduct the study, who are the respondents, you know. Justification is important. That's why I say for the scope of study, whatever thing that given by the candidate, make sure why justify, when justify, who justify, where justify. You know, everything justify, but not justify only like, you know, with a common reason. Justify with supporting arguments or details. You know, maybe you can get a speech or interview from the officers itself. You know, it depends on the study.
Okay. All right. Any other question from the participants? Any more?
I have one question.
Yes.
Hello, Doctor.
Hello.
Yeah. Okay, Dr. Jati, how are you?
Alhamdulillah, bagus.
Okay.
Yes, doctor.
I just want to ask the difference between the master's thesis proposal compared to PhD. Sometimes kita tend to terbawa-bawa when we supervise student masters at the same time student PhD. Kadang-kadang kita terbawa-bawa supervising dia macam cara PhD. Dia sudah master sekarang dia agak stress sedikit. Probably you can have some idea to share how to make sure that this student is student MSc. Macam
Okay.
student PhD kan? Okay. Alright, thank you.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Jati. This is the question that always asked by our colleagues. Okay. Okay, masters and PhD. Okay, normally while evaluating, okay, we always confuse and we like lupa diri, you know, while giving comments to the candidates while during their defense research proposal, we are like, you know, forget and lupa diri like, oh, this is a master's candidate or PhD candidate, and we like, you know, excited and giving our comments to them, you know. But basically, the thing that I personally feel is for master's thesis, normally it is not very deeper in terms of the ideas or content of the thesis, but based on my experience, normally I evaluate masters and PhD at the same level. Only the PhD, I try to make sure that candidate narrow down more specifically into the content or the idea or the subject that trying to highlight. Okay, that means do not compare the student masters or PhD. Our main aim or our main target is to produce a quality thesis. Doesn't matter it is master or PhD. So we try to evaluate, try to see whether the PhD thesis is more specific or not. We will have one more webinar session with this evaluating PhD thesis. Maybe we can join that and we can gain much more ideas, opinion from the speaker later on. Okay, Dr. Jati.
Oh my God.
Yeah, okay, boleh.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Any further questions?
Yes. Depending on the research, there is some standard table for every candidate for. I mean,
sorry, doctor, I can't hear you, doctor. I can't hear you.
Different, different, but how can you confidentially?
Here.
No limitation. Oh my God. Why?
Dr. Mohammed, can you adjust your speaker, please? Okay, you type the questions.
No.
I think we got problem in.
Yeah, maybe there is a problem with the speaker. Okay. Any other questions?
Hello.
Yeah, Dr. Suryani.
Yes.
Yes,
Thank
doctor.
you. Dr. Thenmolli, I want to ask, what if there are limited number of pages for the proposal the first time they sent it, but somehow it seems like we have to put a lot into this. So how to balance out between the acceptable number of pages and also the information that we have to put in?
All right. Thank you, Dr. Suryani. All right. Normally, before defense research proposal, candidate will submit their report to us, right? While checking the report, we found that the report is very limited in number of pages, okay? So we must put remark on that, okay? Put remark, and we must check each and everything. Which section needed to be add more information? We must copy down all the comments and feedbacks in a detailed form, or personally you can copy down in anywhere. It's up to you, and you must highlight this during the defense proposal by that particular candidate. We cannot return back the proposal to them again, because they are submitting their proposal for us for the defense research proposal, right? The issue would be different if the proposal is already checked by the supervisor, and supervisor already highlighted the problem to the particular candidate, and candidate improvise and modify and then only submit the research proposal. It would be different issue. Okay, so if you, as a panel, you receive the proposal with a limited number of pages, you must comment, and the ranking would be different. The ranking would be different. If the content is okay, everything is fulfilled, only the number of page is the problem, it doesn't matter. The important is the content. Check the content. If the content is okay, they can proceed with the with the minor correction or major correction, something like that. If you feel that the information is very limited, you may give your marks according to the ranking. Maybe the particular candidate need to re-present again their proposal. All right. Okay, Dr. Suryani, did I answer your question?
Yes, thank you, Dr. Thenmolli. Thank you.
All right, you're welcome.
Yeah.
Any other question?
Okay, any other questions? Ada? Is there any? Ada lagi tak? Okay. Ada lagi?